Hey guys, this is Hbkgrand from the Dark Shinobis making a video about the Archwing ITZAL. I have made a video about Amisha, I'll share the link below, but apart from that, ITZAL and Amisha, these two are one of the best Archwings to have in the game. Now, ITZAL is becoming more important, especially in Plains of Eidolon, because like it is a really fast Archwing, it's like faster than all the rest of the Archwings. So before we get into the build, I will discuss the abilities first so that everybody knows how ITZAL actually works. So the first ability is called Blink. Well, basically you teleport in a way, or like fast travel, you could say it, or like, you know how Loki's ability is switch teleporting to a target or something point like that. So but in this one you basically don't teleport towards a target or close to a target or switch it. You just basically jump into, like, you could say like a time portal or whatever, and then jump into the next section or something like that. So it's pretty fast. So it is kind of like range and then duration based, but a range in terms of like how far you can travel, how many meters. So basically about 640 meters. If you do one a first ability you cast at one time, you can travel from 1 to 640 meters. Where the stun time, how that works is if you have enemies around you, it will stun them basically in a way, or like stagger, you could say, for about like 19 seconds, and then it stuns any enemy that is around you for 320 meters, almost half the amount of the blink that you're going to be using. This ability is mostly used on almost all the Archwing missions to get the job done fast, especially in interception missions if you're doing the Archwing ones, or in the Plains of Eidolon when you gotta travel from place to places. The second ability is called Penumbra. It activates like a cloaking field that hides the Warframe and nearby allies who remain stationary. So any ally that is close to you are about 121 meters, they're going to turn invisible. Now this does drain your energy, so you need a little bit high energy and more efficiency. So, but what this does is, like, if you move, you're going to lose your invisibility. So you basically got kind of like are stuck in one spot where you cast that ability, and any ally that is 121.6 meters close to you, they will turn invisible as well. But as soon as they move or you move, you lose the invisibility cloak. The third one is the Cosmic Crush. This one is actually mostly used by a lot of people in Plains of Eidolon, in Archwing missions. The reason behind it's kind of like a black hole, like it says over there, and it brings everything into it. Kind of like the vortex from like Robin, or like a larva from Nidus, so brings everything together in one spot. But not just enemies, also all the resources as well. So people actually take that with you. So there's an augment mod for it. I will tell you which one it is. Well, not an augment mod, but it's kind of like a mod that you get from Archwing missions, but it's similar to that. So the range is like about anything that is in like range of 224 meter, it will pull that in. The damage based on the power strength, like if you have a lot of power strength on it, it will do 2250 damage to those things that are inside there. And then there's an explosion range as well. So as soon as they come in, they explode. It's kind of like a projectile going about like doing a shockwave kind of thing, and damages the people that are like enemies that are close by. The fourth one is Fighter Escort. It kind of like deploys like drones, so like you can deploy 12 drones and they'll be there for the duration. So it's kind of like power strength and duration in a way. So you can deploy them and they do about 3750 damage. Like basically they shoot at the enemies, kind of like how the Taxon's weapon does. So it's kind of like a laser shooting or whatnot, and then they could if they are taking damage, they explode, and then they do explosion damage of 3750. So they do damage, but then if they do get destroyed, they do explosion damage as well. So they're kind of helpful. How you go about using ITZAL, it depends on you, but people usually use it for the first and the third ability a lot, especially like for Cetus farming. They go to, like, for example, if they want to do like, there's like a lot of videos on YouTube, they're doing it for farming for the Cetus wisps. So basically Cosmic Crush comes in handy, but in Archwing missions it's really hard to pick up loot and whatnot. So Cosmic Crush comes in handy. It brings all the resources to one spot, and it is kind of like helpful for not just you, all your allies as well. So it's kind of like a really awesome ability. Whereas Fighter Escort can deal a lot of damage. So that's completely up to you if you're going to use it. The second ability is useful if you're staying at one spot. So for example, like missions like the interception, where you could just stand in one spot and do it, or like if you're doing Jordis, where Golem, the boss that drops Atlas, you can go behind him, go invisible, and do damage. You could do invisible damage and whatnot, like to take him down faster. So ITZAL comes in really handy. Now let's get down to the build for ITZAL. So it is a 2-forma build. And I will explain, like, there's 2 types of build. They're not that difficult or different, but it's just that, like, one has more energy and then the other one has speed. The other thing is, like, almost the same. So the 2-forma build, but this is my main build, the speed build for ITZAL, what it is made for. So, so first of all, we have enhanced durability, which gives you 150% health. Then we have the energy amplifier, which gives you about plus 60% ability range. Then we have the energy inversion, which is about 120% shield capacity. Then you have system reroute, which gives you about plus 50% ability efficiency. Then we have efficient transferal, which gives you about plus 30% ability duration. And then this is why this is a speed build. We have Hyperion Thruster, which gives you about plus 25% flight speed. It will give you 30 at max, but even 25 is perfectly fine. Basically, you'll see the sprint speed at 120, but when you're flying your ITZAL without using the L1 option, which is kind of like burst or like boosts to your Archwings, you'll still be flying at a really high speed. So even without a like the sprint speed or whatever, pressing L1 or whatnot, you'll be traveling really fast. So the kind of like the augment I was saying, like this is not an augment mod, but it is kind of like acts like one. So it's like specifically made for ITZAL. It's called the Cold Snap. So anything that it brings into, like all the enemies, it actually like turns, it does like a freezing damage, and then can freeze the enemies as well if they get come into it. So you could do a lot of damage with it. So there is a regular a regular morphic transformer, but there is prime morphic transformer. Barakatir brought it in as well, which gives you ability as strength. You can increase this as well, which will obviously increase the damages and everything for the Warframe, like the 4th ability, the explosion damage, the stun for the 1st ability and whatnot, or the 3rd ability, the Cosmic Crush. So it can help you in those things as well. Now, where to get these mods? So most of the mods you're going to get from doing higher level missions. Like once you finish the missions, there's a chance of dropping them. Some of the mods you can get from, you can even get them from Plains of Eidolon these days when you're killing the Darragons. So the most of these mods are dropped in Darragon. Some mods are dropped at Saturn. And I will show you guys in the codex where they are dropped as well. So like it's kind of like where you could look at it where these are dropped. And the next build, the only thing is I took off Hyperion Thrusters here and I put energy inversion here. Now people might ask, why did you take off Hyperion Thruster? The reason why this is here is because when you go into missions, so it is kind of like you go into missions and you're gonna have like you gotta spam your abilities a lot more than going into Plains of Eidolon. Right, so when you're going in missions, you kind of like need a lot more energy because you're spamming abilities, whereas like people might say like, hey, so even if you're into Plains of Eidolon, we use the 1st ability a lot, so we would need more energy. But honestly, like I think you just tap like blink once or twice and you're almost halfway across the map or something. So usually during that time, you kind of have like almost reached your like destination or whatnot. But in the mission it's kind of like a little bit difficult because you're like not only using just the 1st ability, you might be using your 4th ability, you might be using 3rd ability constantly. So having a little bit of more energy can be really helpful. Apart from that, like all the mods are there. Now this does have a low armor, so if you are having difficulty surviving with ITZAL, you can add argon plating instead of energy inversion. That is completely your choice, or you could add it between whichever one you want to switch it with. But like, yeah, argon plating could go between energy inversion because you wouldn't need that much shield capacity, honestly, because like in most of the missions. But however, since the armor is low, you can take a massive amount of damage, so it is really important to take it this way. So we'll just jump into, like with the speed ability, we'll just jump into like a mission or something. So I'll show you guys how this works. Before we go into any missions, I will show you guys, like if you go to your codex, it's like right in your orbiter, you could go to universe and go to mods. Over here, you'll see all the mods here, but what you could do is if you press L1 or R1, however you want to come here, you'll see the Archwing mods that are required. And once you see over here, you'll actually see where the drop sources are, so you could actually figure out which are the mods that you're looking for if you want the exact same build, because you can't do much with these builds because they're basically only limited amount of mods anyway, so you kind of like everybody will have almost like 90% identical setups, just one mod maybe here and there. So apart from that, like it is the same story with the arch guns, the arch melee and whatnot as well. So just so you know, if you're looking for a mod, you could come to the drop sources area and you'll see which mods actually drop where. And apart from that, let's get down to a mission. So we'll do the highest mission available and we'll go into Neptune Silesia. So all you gotta do is press your third ability. It will bring all the enemies back towards where you are, and it will constantly give them like, see, so like there's an explosion damage too, so it will, you can just do that. With your first ability you could go blink, or and you can use your fourth ability as well. So like that, like if you see what it's doing, shooting all the enemies around, and if they get more damage, they're gonna do explosion damage on them. And you could use your second ability like this and go stay invisible. So, and pretty much like having a weapon is also really important. So I will put the link down for the Fluctus rifle as well, the arch gun. It is one of the best ones to have in the game, and there will be others coming out soon as well. So you see how all that stuff is there? I can bring everything just like that, so you don't even have to worry about it later on. And I can go back invisible and then just like kill all these enemies just like that. And it's basically like you could solo this. Like this is the highest level mission that you could do at the moment, apart from the Jordis Golem one, but you can actually like seriously easily do it over here without even worrying about these guys. And just one thing everybody should know, that after an update, what they did was like, if you're looking for a mod, you can get it by killing the enemies in the mission, or get it as a possible drop for completing the mission as well. There is a drop chance involved in both matters, but it is a faster pace of getting those mods at hand as well. So it's not that difficult to get these mods anymore. So if you guys are looking for it, they're really easy to get. So I hope you guys liked the video. If you guys have any questions, any comments, or any suggestions, you could leave it in the comment section below. The build is pretty much like almost equal. Like I said, like 90%, 95%, it will be similar to everybody's build because there's only limited mods, but how you use them matters a lot as well. So as you saw what I did in the mission, I'm gonna like make a little bit of clips of them, so that way like it's just like I don't have to show you like the entire mission. But the point of the matter is that like you could easily defend the mobile defenses. That's the highest one on Neptune Silesia, and you could do that mission even solo if you want to with this build, and especially having Fluctus. So I'll share the link for Fluctus and Amisha in the link below. So hopefully you guys this helps you out, and if you guys have any questions, any comments, once again you can leave it in the comment section below. Hope you guys liked the video. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share this with your community. And this is Hbkgrand signing off. Have a great one, guys. Take it easy.